If you're selling a product or service but still aren't collecting payments online, what are you waiting for? With this pandemic and people staying home, you can't rely solely on foot traffic anymore. So, how hard is it to set up a website or get a point of sale machine? I'm Kalila Reynolds, and this is Money Moves JA, a partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service. Keep watching to find out more. Have you recently set up a business but don't know how to receive online payments? Or is it that you need a point of sale machine and you don't know how to get your hands on one? Well, Kevin Shue, Assistant Vice President of the Cards and Payments Division at Sagicor Bank, and Danya Brown-Leslie, Manager of Commercial Procurement Payments also at Sagicor Bank, join us now to explain. All right. Hi, Danya. Hi, Kevin. Good to have you guys on.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Kalilo.
So online commerce is the way to go. We know Amazon is the giant. You have Walmart online, all these big vendor sites that allow you to sell your stuff. But if I have my product and I want to sell it through my own website, and I'm based here in Jamaica, set up my website, how do I go about getting that payment option, being able to accept payments for my product online?
Well, Sagicor has our Sagicor Payment Gateway service that allows you to accept payments online via credit cards through our gateway solution. It's a simple setup process, easy onboarding. You simply make the request and we complete our forms and we have the solution set up in a few days. We provide our integration package, in a few days.
Mm-hmm. Is it that you're going to help me set up that portion of the website, or do I have to set it up and then I call you and you basically just deal with receiving the payments?
So your website would have to be set up separately, and we will only provide you with the integration for our gateway, and your developer will assist with that integration of the gateway on your website.
Okay, and I imagine that, so this is linked to, let's say, well, your Sagicor. So this would be linked to a Sagicor bank account. So I'd have to be a client of yours.
Correct. So you have to have a Sagicor bank account, and you can settle in both Jamaican or US dollars.
Jamaican or US, that's important. What about pounds? Or any other currency? Just
you can accept in those from those currencies, but you'll only settle in Jamaican and US.
It will be converted.
Correct.
So just to expound on what Danya has said, Kalila, is that we actually do, although we provide the integration code for to attach the gateway to your website. Obviously, we are going to be working through that process with you and your developer to get it done in the most efficient way possible. So in the beginning, we go through just a brief list of requirements that you may have. So, and just to touch on some of the features. So for example, suppose you said, okay, I want to accept Jamaican dollars only, that would be a requirement. If you said, I wanted to do reoccurring payment. So in other words, maybe you have a offer a service that requires your customers to maybe pay you a set amount every month, then our code would include the feature set to allow you to do reoccurring payments, so that when the customer logs on his customer is paying, however your website is set up, they can say, okay, I'd like to pay every 30 days $100 on this card, and then it would just be an automatic payment for the next 10 periods, rather than having to come back every time and do the process over again. So it just depends on the feature set that you're looking for and that we can provide, and then the code would reflect those features.
Do I have to have a business account in order to benefit from this? Because you have a lot of small vendors who you might just be starting out and you're using your personal account. I know it's not a good idea to mix the two, but it seems like the requirements are a bit more stringent to open a business account, no?
I wouldn't say they're stringent. I mean, mean, every account has its own set of requirements, and the client can have it doesn't have to be, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't have to be a limited liability. It can also be a sole proprietorship. They just need a business registration or the license for the type of business that they provide. So based on the type of business arrangement, then different requirements would be required.
But it does
And of
have to be
course,
a business account.
But
correct.
it has to be a business account.
Correct. And in most cases, I mean, Jamaica is to a point now when it's very easy for someone to get themselves registered as a sole trader or a limited liability or partnership, and the company's office does a pretty good job of providing,
making
of course,
it
all the
simpler.
documentation, making it simpler for them to do so. So, you know, I would say, fortunately, the Bank of Jamaica has a very robust regulatory system as it relates to onboarding of clients to the bank. And we do have to follow their guidelines as it relates to Know Your Customer, or KYC, and AML, or anti-money laundering. It is a guideline of the BOJ and a regulation of the BOJ that the bank performs these activities so that we know who we're doing business with. The great thing is that nowadays, it has, you know, most small businesses are able to get themselves set up with a company's office pretty easy and have access to that, you know, that facility fairly easily nowadays.
So what about the point of sale machine? I know Sagicor now has this portable one called the Swipe. How does that work? How do I get one of those for my business?
All right, so let me start from, rather than jumping straight into point of sale, let me just backtrack a little bit further from that. So even before COVID was a thing, and unfortunately it is a thing, but even before COVID was a thing, Sagicor's strategy has been to provide the Jamaican market with as many tools as possible, you know, to allow small businesses and entrepreneurs to thrive. So the bank has many different services and products that can be used electronically, or digital products that can be used so clients never really have to come to the bank for anything. Seeing the landscape of the Jamaican market, Sagicor took a decision in 2018 to launch what we now call Swipe. And that's really a mobile point of sale solution, or MPOS. So, the difference between an MPOS and a POS. So I guess I'll start with the POS. So a point of sale or card machine is generally, historically, a device that sits on the counter. It has a paper roll. It has a communication device built in. It has the card reader built in, and it has the keypad built in. Everything is in that one device sitting on the counter of the merchant. Everything is done from that device. In other words, you process the card, meaning that you either swipe or you dip the card into the machine. You allow the person to put in their PIN, and then it produces a receipt at the end of the transaction. That's the traditional POS machine. MPOS could be more portable, more transportable. So it is a smaller device, which is just a card reader, which is Bluetooth attached to your Android cell phone, and then there's an app on the cell phone that really deals with the communication side of it, and the receipt sending. And the receipt sending is done via email or SMS, or both. So rather than transport around an entire device that has a paper roll and all these things involved, you now have a smaller, sleeker device that integrates into your cell phone, and you're able to send still send the transactions as you would on a POS device. However, you don't need the paper rolls and all of that, because you're now sending your receipts via SMS or email. The price point for the MPOS is also a little bit lower than the POS. So we priced the MPOS solution with entrepreneurs and micro and small businesses in mind. So the rental is only 1,000 plus GCT a month for the MPOS device, and and then there's a commission charge per transaction. For the regular point of sale solution, it ranges depending on the device that you want. So you have different connection modes when it comes to the POS device. The POS device that sits on your counter can either connect to the bank via telephone line, Ethernet, or connected to your router, or 3, by the use of a SIM card and the use of GPRS. So depending on the situation, on the requirements of the customer, some customers don't have a phone line, so they may either have to use Ethernet or GPRS. Some people may not have a phone line or internet, so that just leaves them with the GPRS. Depending on the solution, it ranges from either $1,400 a month up to $4,200 a month, depending on the solution that we're providing for the POS machines.
And what's the commission that you charge? What's the percentage?
Commissions are normally 3.48 plus GCT. However, we are able to negotiate depending on volume. So in other words, if you're a client that is going to be doing a significant amount of volume, then we can look at coming down on that commission rate, depending on the volume that you're doing. So obviously, if you're looking at a large organization that does maybe, a few million or tens of millions a day in transactions. So can you imagine how much PriceSmart is putting through their machines on a monthly basis versus maybe a flower shop? There's a difference. We're able to give a discount on the volume because we make up some of that margin on volume. But just like anybody else, just like any other business, of course, we have, the bank has fees to pay to Visa, to MasterCard, and the different providers that make that provide these networks for us to use. So it's not as if the banks are getting the service for free and then passing it on at a cost. They're, that commission rate that we charge is the majority of that goes to covering the costs of the card companies.
Danya, for the website option that we were talking about earlier, I forget what you call the service. What's the name of it again?
Sagicor Payment Gateway.
The payment gateway. Is there a cost to that service?
Yes, there is a cost, and the cost varies based on the type of integration or the type of website that you have. So currently, we're able to integrate into WordPress sites and custom build sites. So based on the integration work that needs to be done, they are priced accordingly. So for WordPress sites, there's an initial setup cost of $15,000 plus GCT, $4,500 plus GCT for a monthly maintenance fee, and our commission rate is 3.5% plus GCT. For the custom built websites, the setup cost is $50,000 plus GCT. Monthly maintenance is $4,500 plus GCT, and the commission is 3.5%.
Okay, so this option can be a little bit pricier, especially if you're at the micro level, you're not doing huge volumes. This is more for probably medium to large.
Yeah, but we do for the smaller businesses, we do partner with developers who would be able to price accordingly. And based on that developers program that we offer, clients that are onboarded through our list of developers will also benefit from further discounts. So our micro companies can benefit under that program.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that. Well, thanks so much for telling me about your services, guys.
You're welcome.
Again, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
That's it for this episode of Money Moves JA, brought to you in partnership with Exim Bank's Business Advisory Service. Check out their website, eximbankja.com, and follow them on social media at eximbankja. If this information has helped you in any way today, please spread the news and share with a friend. Also, like this video so that YouTube shows it to more people. Subscribe to this channel and turn on those post notifications. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Stay safe.